Hello, it's Anna Beckwith from Yara Consulting here again. Thanks for stopping by. I know you're really busy. I know this because I'm really busy. Everybody's really busy, and actually that's what I wanted to talk to you about. With the fast pace of life these days, everybody is incredibly busy doing loads of stuff, on the go all the time, not enough hours in the day, and actually it's really important sometimes just to stop. Just to take time out and stop. And reevaluate, refresh and refocus. So the first of those is reevaluate. I've coached many people who have reached what might appear from the outside to other people to be very successful points in their career, and yet some of them are standing there with all of the trappings of success thinking, how did I get here? I'm not sure that this is where I want to be. And they take time to reevaluate their experience and whether in terms of their life they are where they want to be. So it's obvious enough in the sense of personal development how important it is just to stop and take stock from time to time, to look at the journey, look at the path that you've already travelled and see, well, is this where I want to be? Is this where I would expect to be in my life? And if it is, great, how do I continue that? If not, what changes do I need to make in order to get to my chosen destination? It's also really important within a workplace context. You can imagine that if you're involved in a project, an ongoing process of some sort, to take stock from time to time on the journey that you've been on so far. Have you met the milestones that you said you were going to meet? Again, I see it time and time in a training context in the corporate world where people perhaps don't take enough time to really stop and reevaluate. They might stop and maybe quantify whether they are where they should be or not in the terms of the project that they're involved in, but not necessarily to really focus on why and what steps need to be taken to move forward. Because they're too busy. There's too much stuff to do. And yes, it takes time to take yourself out of that situation and to stop and reevaluate. The question then becomes, actually, what's the return on investment of that time spent and during that thinking process, that time taken to stop and a time out and reevaluate. The second thing is taking time out to refresh. Now, whatever that refreshment might be. Again, there's some fairly obvious metaphors here, aren't there? If you were to try and continue working non-stop without sleep and without food, you would soon become very, very ill indeed. And yet sometimes people really do push themselves to breaking point. Don't wait till you're stressed out. Take the time just to stop and refresh yourself. I used to work for a boss once, this was a long time ago, and he was quite well known for having a lunches for wimps kind of attitude. He never took a midday meal himself, and he was always slightly snide about people who did take their lunch break. I didn't take any notice of that. I like my food too much. However, I left that organisation, my career moved in a different direction, and a few years later I heard that that man had actually had a breakdown. He had burnt himself out. What is the point of that? Sometimes what stops us stopping and looking after ourselves and refreshing is because we're in that treadmill, we're on that treadmill of doing loads of stuff and not recognising the value of stopping. Sometimes we actually feel quite selfish about stopping and looking after ourselves, stopping to refuel. There's a perception that, well, if I don't keep my shoulder to the wheel, I'm going to be letting people down. Make no mistake, you are not helping yourself or your family or your workplace or your colleagues by running on empty. Sometimes the best thing that you can do for everybody is taking the time to stop and refresh. And actually, why not? I'm not suggesting you take a fortnight holiday every month. Take a few hours off, do something different, think about something new, make connections with other areas in your life, other colleagues that you haven't spoken to, or whatever it happens to be. Stop for a moment and refresh. It makes a huge difference, and you return back to the scenario that you're in a better state of mind to be able to move forward and actually do something. Do you know, it astonishes me that on so many training courses I have to ask people to put their phones, their Blackberries to one side and to try and refrain from looking at them all the time. You still get participants on courses where as soon as they have any opportunity at all, not just in the breaks, out comes the Blackberry, let me check my emails. Like, wake up and smell the coffee, people. You are here to invest time in yourself and your learning and your personal development. Is the company really going to go under because you've switched your mobile off for a day or because you haven't answered that email immediately? I think not. Place a value on taking time out to refresh. And the third thing is refocus. When you've got to that point where you've reevaluated where you are and you've taken time to refresh so that you're in a better position, a better frame of mind to move forward, refocus. What are your goals? Where are you going? Again, many people will just chunter on doing stuff, moving in a particular direction without actually knowing where they're going. Really, really important to stop from time to time and refocus on, well, what is my goal? Again, equally applicable in a personal development context where you're thinking about your life goals, your career goals. Also really important in a workplace context where sometimes you have to stop and think, well, hang on a minute, where are we going? Why are we doing this? What is the ultimate benefit to the organisation, to the department, to the people within the company? Why are we doing this? I've seen it so often where that doesn't happen, and stuff happens and things go off course because not enough people are stopping to refocus and say, well, actually, where are we going? Why are we doing this? Again, it takes time to stop. It takes a certain amount of self-discipline to say, okay, I'm going to park everything for a moment and take a couple of hours to stop and think. Again, the crucial question is, what is the return on investment of that time spent just thinking through things? The time spent to reevaluate, refresh and refocus. If you make time to do those things, I can pretty much guarantee you will see a difference. You will see a positive difference, not only in your mindset and your ability to overcome challenges, but in your productivity as well. Don't get swept along on the rat race treadmill, swept along in the maelstrom. Make time from time to time just to stop, to reevaluate, refresh and refocus.